All right, Jayden, apologies for getting this video late to you, man. Wanted to compare your mechanics to Jacob deGrom's mechanics, kind of go over our last lesson, the big things that we worked on in your mechanics, talk about, the differences between you as an accelerator versus Jacob deGrom as an accelerator. Just kind of, for this one's going to be a really short video because we really talked about a lot of the things in the lesson itself. But for this video, what we're going to talk about is just kind of the couple things that we worked on. So here we go. Okay, so meets the eye, very, very similar mechanics, right? We get to right here. We have that hinge on our hip right here, right? Just like deGrom, everything's middle of our body. We get to here, and we talked about the biggest things are, number one, this right here, right? Now, I know the deGrom video isn't a great angle of this, but he's not even close to the mound yet versus what you're going to see here is right there. He lands and he's flat, right? So that's his foot strike right there, right? Versus our foot strike is heel first, right? And what we talked about, what happens with our heel is this. And this is how you know Jacob deGrom didn't heel strike. Watch his leg. Gets there and can extend out, right? Versus ours, we kind of recoil, right? We kind of stick in place, right? We're not able to get over the hump at the last second, right? Or more so that our leg also has some trouble getting over top. The other thing that we talked about that is a big thing is if you take a look at how far Jacob deGrom gets out in front of his body with his release, we take a look at ours, and we're kind of straight up like this, right? So this is where we are. And deGrom is way over here, right? So there is a term called perpetual velocity. And I think we may have talked about this a little bit. But if not, essentially what it is it's how the batter perceives velocity, right? So the further you get out, the quicker the ball is going to come up or is going to get to them, right? So what happens is if we're able to release out further, that ball is going to look faster to the batter, right? Same thing for all about spots. And we'll talk about that a little bit next lesson. But those were like the big two things, right? For how we can get better as a pitcher. Because honestly, Jayden, you have really, really sound mechanics for your age, or more so for your experience, rather. Because, I mean, everything looks great here. We get to this point. Everything looks identical. I mean, we're at a really, really good spot there. I mean, that is beautiful right there. If you were to tell me that you landed flat, I mean, this would look damn near similar, besides the fact of just getting out in front, right? But those are the big two things that we talked about in the lesson, right? And additionally, too, that we kind of talked about for you kind of starting staggered a little bit. That way you're able to get up quicker or more effectively. Because this hinge in your back hip is great. It's fantastic. That's exactly what we want, right? Get to this point. We got our tilt. Everything's going good. All we just need to do is release out in front. And then we also kind of talked about with, the throwing program of how to build more velocity, what that entails, what it looks like. I mean, the big things about velocity, number one is mass, right? You've heard probably the I'm going to say a goofy baseball math equation, which is mass equals gas. Well, it's true, right? The more mass you have in reason, obviously, the faster you're going to throw, right? It also depends on explosive movements, right? So, like, sprints are a great example. Squats, box jumps, skiers are another great one. Anything that involves a very, very explosive workout is great for pitchers, right? Additionally, all about throwing, conditioning our arm, right? Long toss is great for our arm because not only does it train our accelerators, but also trains our decelerators, right? It helps build not only stamina in our arm, but also helps build strength in our arm, right? The biggest things that are going to help you, Jayden, with building velocity is continue getting in the weight room, building muscle, but also sticking to a throwing program and trying to build velocity. And we can even talk about, like a drive line program and, how to get into that, How does that affect it? What does it do? How do we do it safely? All that stuff. But I just kind of wanted to show your mechanics briefly comparatively to Jacob deGrom's because your mechanics are really good, Jayden. Like you said, like we kind of talked about, the biggest thing is going to be velocity right now, which we'll continue to work on. I mean, you got good stuff, so I'm not too concerned about your stuff. It's just really going to be building velocity. But, the good news is, college coaches, they're not really going to be looking for new guys until next spring. So we got some time to build some velocity, work on it, and hopefully get you a spot for next fall, man. But otherwise, keep working, keep doing a good job, man, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.